Hello, folks. So today I wanted to talk about uh, topics related to gender. So if you guys watch Louder with Crowder, he did a segment where he goes and he has people convince him that there are more than two genders, and they all have this common theme. So the concept that gender is different from sex is actually really recent, and they just in the Western world. Also, I'll talk about a little bit about what they're referring to as the Haja in India, and also there's a few, I believe, in Samoa and the Pacific Islands, and also some in the Native American cultures where there was a so-called quote-unquote third gender, but it really isn't. So let's look at Stephen Crowder makes the claim that it comes in 1948. That is essentially when two linguistic specialists, they come up with a distinction between gender and sex because they usually, in English, they were used interchangeably for the longest period of time. And the fact that after that they started increased in the popularity of the word because there's two big issues in English that simply we don't really have strict gendered words. So in Romance languages you have three genders of the word. You have masculine, feminine, and just a neutral word. So I'd say it's just gender free words. When you're referring to a man, use masculine words. When you're referring to a woman, you have feminine words, and then there's neutral words. So this really confuses the Romance languages once you add the third gender in. So that's just linguistically there's problems. To put that aside, let's ask ourselves, why are there two genders? So first of all, they say it's a social construct. So there's certain aspects of gender that is a social construct. Say that men liking blue while women like pink. That's a social construct for the most part. There is some theories that it's not, but I don't buy them. First of all, the reason we have genders is there's two distinct differences between how the sexes are displayed. There's a certain biological reality that underpins this quote-unquote social construct, and we need this in order to have a productive society. Back when, especially in the indigenous peoples, the whole entire concept of the gender division of labor was a necessity until the pretty much until the 1800s. It was absolutely necessary, and there's several reasons behind this. So why were women farmers, and why were men hunters? The big differences here is, first of all, men are physically stronger, physically faster. And there's actually a rather significant difference between men and women, how much they can physically accomplish. So this is why men traditionally were hunters and why women were farmers. And there's a lot to do with, there's more to this. There's also the psychology behind this. For instance, if you were a successful hunter, it would be a symbol of your strength. That's why, so let's think about this in evolutionary terms now. So women prefer to mate with men that are strong because they will lead for them to produce offspring, strong offspring that will survive past childbirth and pass on their DNA. So that's like the ultimate goal of humanity is essentially to reproduce. And so this whole entire idea of a third gender really breaks this down. I just on a side note, you can identify for whatever you want, and I don't care. You can do whatever the heck you want. That doesn't mean I need to accept it or tolerate. I just need to not infringe upon your rights. And I can, like in the video with Stephen Crowder, they're always claiming that misgendering someone is violence. It's not. Legally, it's not, and by definition, it's not. And I can call you whatever the heck I want. It's a violation of my inalienable individual human rights to say that I have to call you something that I want. It can be rude, it can be disrespectful, but that makes it you're infringing on my rights if you force me to say something. So this is why my biggest issue with the LGBTQIK whatever movement is that you are forcing me to provide a good or service to you based on something I disagree with. You can't do that because it's a obvious infraction of my individual rights. Just take the Gay Baker Supreme Court case. So these gay couple wants to force a Christian fundamentalist baker to produce a cake that has, gay symbols on it that he fundamentally disagrees with. So they're essentially forcing him to provide them a service. That's theft. If you force someone to do something, that is theft. That is immoral because it violates someone's individual human rights. You as an individual are not obligated to provide a good or service to someone. You can willingly do that. That makes it voluntary, and that means it's not violent or coercive. That is the biggest problem I have with the LGBT community is they want to legally force their status on everybody else. You can do whatever you want in your own time. If you want to call yourself, I don't know, a man when you're a woman, you're just a crazy person. That's it, because you are denying a biological reality. If you're born with a penis, you're a man. If you're born with a vagina, you're a woman. How you express yourself, I don't care. And I don't have to be accepting of this. I don't really have to tolerate it. I just don't have to infringe on your rights. It doesn't matter. To call it violence, okay. You can call it violence. It's not. It's not anything not infringing on your rights. So, and they want to legally punish me for that. That's their ultimate goal. And the science besides, there's no really evidence to support that there are more than two different genders, scientifically speaking, because all they did was simply change the definition. And you can see this on this chart right here. They changed the definition in order to fill their goal. That's all they did. There's no difference between gender and sex linguistically until they change the definition. And you know what? When they're always talking about this, third gender in other cultures and Indian cultures and India and the Native American culture and also the Polynesian culture, it wasn't really what they're referring to gender, is they were just referring to trans and gay people. That's all they're referring to. And those are not different genders, they're different sexual orientations. And I would say that transgenderism is a mental illness by any dictionary definition you use. You want to cause self-harm to yourself? Transgenderism is a mental illness. It's not a good thing. They have the right to do what they want. If they want the surgery, then okay, you just got to find someone who will willingly do it. And also, they then want to make me pay for it. They want universal health care. They want me to pay for their surgery, and I morally cannot do that because they are inflicting self-harm, which I find wrong. That's a violation of your own rights by yourself. Self-harm is not a good thing, and I'm not going to promote it. So I should not be obligated to pay for it. You're using theft to pay for your own whims, which I then see as harmful to yourself. It is just, the LGBT movement's just going at it the wrong way. It's fine. In our current state, you can do what you want. If you want to mutilate yourself, okay. As long as you don't have to pay for it, it's fine. If you want to sleep with a man, if you're a man, okay. As long as you don't force me to do special things for you. It's just ridiculous how far their movement has gone. It is an extreme slippery slope. Like, every time you give them something, they want more and more and more. And they want to infringe on other people's rights. That's all they want to do. They just call it violence against the trans people. Well, it's not. It's not violence until you infringe upon one's individual right. I am not obligated to respect you. That's not an individual right. I'm obligated not to silence you. I'm obligated not to steal your property. I am obligated to leave you alone. I believe that disassociation and association are all part of your inalienable human rights. I do not have to associate with you. I do not have to call you what I want because I have the First Amendment. We in the Constitution it says I do not have to be forcefully associated and I do not have to be forcefully disassociated with someone. So I think fundamentally they're against inalienable human rights. They're anti-individual rights because they want to collectivize rights. It's a fundamental wrong for society for them to force us to accept this. Thank you guys for listening, and I totally recommend the video with Louder with Crowder. I really enjoyed watching it, and they make complete and utter nonsense. They essentially want special rights for trans. They essentially want to have they advocate for some sort of trans supremacy because they want to give respect to trans that they just haven't earned. If I like a trans person, like I like Blair White, for instance, I'm going to call her a girl. She actually looks like a lot like a girl, and I respect her, and I like her views, and I enjoy her videos. However, if you're, some crazy LGBT lesbo, I'm not going to respect you for that. So thank you guys for watching my videos today. Have a great day.